Hi everyone, happy Shivaratri to all of you who love Lord Shiva, my Lord and my love. Extremely amazing time right now. So I've got a lot that I've been studying and I'm not sure how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to give it my best shot. First of all, as many people know, when the eclipse is happening, the solar eclipse, it also starts the year of the fire horse. Both at the same time. It's the time of no moon seen now. It's all happening now. Shivaratri as well. And apparently if you look at the Vedic astrology, the nakshatra or the house that this degree of the eclipse is in is Lord Shiva's Dharmudra. It's amazing. Okay, so we've got Saturn and Neptune. They are in the 0 degree of Aries, which of course I call that my 0 point energy. And apparently that has not happened for over 6,000 years. So that was something new. I'm just going to go straight into... I've learned a lot about the fallen angels, the 5 Satans, and all that went down at the flood, or pre. So the golden age, then the angels came, it became the silver age, then all the stuff that they did, and then the deluge, and after the deluge the survivors, which were angels, which were giants, which were humans, began the Bronze Age. Now anyway, moving on. So 60 years ago was the last time it was the fire horse year, and it began with a lot of coups worldwide, everywhere. A lot of military taking over the government and deposing presidents was occurring. And the new money system is introduced for like New Zealand and Australia and stuff, changing from pounds into dollars. And a shitload of plane crashes. Some killed hundreds. Everyone was protesting the Vietnam War, so the USA increases the troops to go there. The Chinese city of Xingdai, I hope I said that correctly, was hit by a 6.8 earthquake and over 8,000 died and over 38,000 were injured. Now, most of my work, there was a Buddhist uprising in central Vietnam and southern Vietnam after the military coup. So basically, an alliance of warlords ruling areas like a feudal system. The Viet military was on America's team and they were pro-Catholic and they blamed it on the communist Viet Cong. Okay? And when the police and the army opened fire and threw grenade at demonstrators, the Buddhists. Okay, so these warlords who were Catholic and in these high positions in the Vietnam army and had America on their team, raided temples across the country, killing hundreds, arresting thousands of Buddhist lay people and monks. Now, I've told you before, pagan is Buddhist. It's not witch, hoo-ha that everyone's going on about everywhere. If you are a pagan, you are a Buddhist. Paganism was around when forget who it is now, but when Cyrus the Great said to the Israelites, I think they still were back then, whoever wants to go back and build the temple, you can go. And heaps of Jews were like, hey, that's our territory, let's go. I can't remember who it was. I keep wanting to think, I'm thinking Nathaniel, but I might be wrong. And anyway, when they went back, they were like, right, we're going to have new rules around here. And one thing we're not doing is we're not having no pagans. Now, they didn't mean Babylonians. What they meant was Buddhists. Okay? So, in a place that was called Pagania, Pagon, it's like this whole Buddhist area. It's still alive now. It's Minor. It's got beautiful temples there. Myanmar, maybe how you say it. And that is where pagan begins, okay? Now, let me just carry on my little story here. Oh, it's not actually, it's history. So, the Catholic, pro-Catholic Team America Viet military raids the temples across the country, killing all these Buddhists, okay? Catholic domination pushed through the area, denouncing any Buddhist in a position of power. The military was Catholic, and the coup advancement was based on religion. Buddhist activists wanted to end the war through a negotiated settlement with communists and the departure of American troops. The Catholic military and Prime Minister regarded Buddhist activists as traitors. In Saigon, the CIA analysts speculated the Defense Secretary Robert McNamara and the U.S. Ambassador Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. wanted to take this guy out called, please excuse my English here, Nguyen Chana Thai. Okay, that was his name, and I'm just going to say Thai because it's a little bit easy. That's Thi. So they wanted to take Thi, Thai, out of the corridors of power in South Vietnam because he was a general and commander of the I Corps and he was a Buddhist. And also he was local to the region of the central and south of Vietnam, and he was very hostile to any advice that America gave. He was like, middle finger. Okay, so they offered him an economic future in the USA and education for his children because the Buddhists were becoming a political force and they were the majority of the population and everybody liked Thai. So the Buddhists were firmly opposed to the Vietnam War expansion, and the American leadership viewed Thai negatively. He had to go into exile in the USA, but he refused. So exile, like when Nebuchadnezzar came and took the people from Israel and brought them over to Babylon, they were in exile. Get what I'm saying? He comes, he conquers, he takes. So the American wanted to take Thai and put him in exile in USA. But he refused, and that escalated into an open rebellion, and all the people in the military who were pro-Thai, they were called for a civilian government, and an end to USA war expansion policy. And it caused 3 months of this vicious Vietnamese against Vietnamese, Catholic army against the Buddhists war. And the uprising was crushed, and Thai was deported to the USA. Deported, I mean, you're supposed to be deported back to your own country, but he was, that's what it says, it's written, I just copy. And he was given an apartment on Connecticut Avenue in DuPont Circle, Washington, D.C. His apartment was small and shabby. The government gave him a living allowance and paid for his children's education until 1973, when it was suddenly discontinued. He spent much of his time at the Library of Congress reading books about Asian history. In 1975, he was moved to Arkansas. That would be interesting to see. But he settled in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, working a variety of jobs, and died at the hospice in Lancaster County from heart ailments on the 23rd of June 2007. Now, 1966, with Thai in America, Hanoi, the second most populous city of Vietnam and the capital, is bombed by the US planes. That's in northern Vietnam. Now, in August 1966, the Asian Development Bank was established. And in December it began operations. Head office was in Metro Manila, Philippines, for social development and economic growth and resource management. The projects include Afghanistan Railway Project, Armenian water supply and sanitation, Bhutan, that's in the Himalayas, green power development, India Rural Roads Project, Indonesia Vocational Education Project. In Laos, Laos is like inside, and we have, let's see if I can do it with backwards, we have Burma, which I told you, that is called now Myanmar, and it is pagan. It was pagan. The name, it was an empire. So we've got, I say Burma, okay, because it's hard for me to say Myanmar. So Burma, China, Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand all circle around Laos. And they take the water supply there. Well, sorry, not take, it's their project. They have a food and nutrition program in Mongolia and the Solomon Islands. So if you look on your map and you watch how the islands come down of Vietnam and all the eastern Asian islands into the Pacific there, right, just about the last one is Solomon Island. It's sort of like just above Australia, so it's like a little curve of islands that comes down. And on that Solomon Island they created a Pacific Private Sector Development Initiative. That is the Asian Development Bank. In August 1966, Australia's Royal Australian Regiment, the D Company, is fighting for their lives in South Vietnam. And I've met a lot of those guys because I've been to Australia and they are all in wheelchairs. And I was very young at first and I was pushing my babies in the pram and one of my babies dropped a shoe and we'd got off the train, I think it was, and this man was like, excuse me, and turned around, and there was a guy in a wheelchair zooming up to me. He was like, oh, your baby dropped a shoe, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I was like, why are you in a wheelchair? And he was like, Vietnam. So what happened in Vietnam, there's stacks of them in Australia with no legs, okay? Because these tripwires were put across, and when you ran forward and it exploded, it just took your legs off. They're alive, they play basketball, they have basketball teams and all this sort of stuff like that. But a lot of people don't talk about Vietnam, not New Zealand guys either that went. Because it was evil. Now, I just looked on Wikipedia, and the Beatles were mentioned a shitload in 1966. As we know, the Beatles are Tavistock. And they put out an album that year called Revolver. They had a lot of press conferences in the USA. There was an earthquake that hit Vato, eastern Turkey, 6.8 on August 19th. It was violent in intensity, killing 3,000 people, injuring 1,420 people. Then in September, a hurricane strikes Inez Hispaniola in the Dominican Republic of Haiti. Thousands of dead and tens of thousands are homeless. Okay, September 1966, we're talking 60 years ago. LSD is all over the place in America, but scientific research programs on the drug in the country are shut down. October the 14th, Intrabank closes, beginning a crisis in the Lebanese banking system. Intrabank was an international traders bank and leading money exchange house in Beirut. The bank owned airlines and all sorts of stuff, just heaps of stuff. But its sudden collapse owned oil fields, just so many things. Its sudden collapse brought the Lebanese economy to a halt and sent shockwaves through the Middle East. The circumstances are very controversial. Okay, so on November the 4th, the flood of the Arno River in Italy hits Florence, flooding it 6 meters deep in some areas. A door is 2 meters. So that's 3 doors. 3 doors, not 3 doors down, 3 doors up. Now, destroying millions of masterpieces in art and rare books. And a severe tidal flood hit Venice. Also, the Roman Catholic Church translates the Jerusalem Bible and publishes it in England. In English, sorry. Excuse me. Right, and that's what I've got written for 1966. You're going to see coups all over the place. Okay, because the archons, those that are in that revolving system, to use the revolver word of the Beatles, are playing out the same game, okay? So you can't expect anything different from them. If we look back at history in this year, just 60 years ago, what we need to think about is what not to do. Because we're going to keep our life. we're going to do our best to stay. Okay, so we know that these high-level secret societies that are above the CIA tell the CIA what to do. Is the committee. We know that they're the ones with the weapons, okay? So they're the ones with the earthquake weapon, hurricane weapon, that sort of stuff. It's not for your average man. But when they send out the message and they say, get up in the sky and see the clouds, the average man does what he's told, because it's passed down, plus you get paid money. And soon everyone's going to wake up and realise, because there's a shitload of bad shit going on again with the weather. And, I mean, look at it like this. You can say no, and they'll just replace you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Everyone's like, we can fight back the system. You can't. Please don't. What you do instead, what do? We live. Not only do we live, but we live with happiness. We are going to make sure that we don't give this energy harvesting shit that they want. We're just not going to give them that. So when you see trouble and anything wrong, give love. So when you see danger, I mean, I would have been dead already, but do rush in and help. Try and save that person from harm. As soon as you rush forward, 5 others will rush forward. 6 others will follow them. Do you know what I'm saying? You're never alone. You just have to make the first move. But do not fight. Protect, yes. Keep yourself safe. If, when called for, fucking go for it, okay? I mean, if you're driving past and the river's flooded and you see someone in there, don't just fucking drive. Get out and help. Get on your phone and call someone. Get people there. And just leave people. And we're going to turn the system around the only way that I know how. By living. Actually living through it. That's my hope for everyone. Maybe try not to be too cocky, but yes, use all your wit and keep strong. Lord Shiva loves us all. Okay, fuck your day.